are watching another episode of the Broken Controller Club. My name is Ed and I'm your host. Make sure you don't miss all the sweet reviews and special features and hit the subscribe button. It'll be quick and painless, I promise. I have played some weird games in my lifetime. Thanks to the indie scene, I've played some weird games this year. But I have to say that Fight Crab tops my list so far as my favorite. Where my second favorite weird game to release this year, Freedom Finger, had a ton of style with a great soundtrack and interesting satirical premise, Fight Crab skips all of that and just drops a couple crustaceans in your lap for you and your friends to watch fight it out. You ever have a crab dropped in your lap? It's horrifying but exciting at all the same time, especially when you have external plumbing that can get pinched and make you sing as high as Steven Tyler after. Fight Crab is a physics-based arena-style fighting game where you square off against one or more crabs, lobsters, and what have you, and fight it out. If you've played Octodad or Surgeon Simulator or even Safety First, then you'll become immediately familiar with the ridiculously unfamiliar and difficult controls. The analog stick controls the arms and pinchers, and you use the triggers to punch, bumpers, grab, or disarm, and you use the directional pad to move them in a set direction. The easiest way to explain it is to think of your crab as a tank, where one set of controls moves it and the others handle the arms. The game doesn't really have a story. I don't even know how you could write one if you wanted to, but if you really like heroin or shrooms, have a go at it and send me a draft. Can't be worse than anything Hollywood's put out in the last couple of years anyways. You have two modes, the single-player campaign and the versus mode. In the campaign, you go through the tutorials, which I highly suggest because otherwise you won't know what the hell you're doing. After those are through, you'll visit different themed arenas with several sub-stages in them with a large boss at the end. If you end up having some problems with a particular fight, you can ask the computer to give you a partner to help out. They're crabs, so they won't judge you much. Anyways, these arenas vary from cities, fish markets, the ocean, even a Chinese restaurant, which is easily my favorite. You can destroy parts of the scenery and even pick up objects and use them, like wielding cars or palm trees or even fish. It makes no sense and is absolutely hilarious. The levels are actually a decent size as well, so you've got room to move around if you want to try and plan an attack or retreat if you're starting to take too much damage. Speaking of damage, the game takes some inspiration from Smash Bros, and instead of doing a health bar, there's a percentage that shows up on the crabs. The higher the percentage, the easier it is to knock the crab on its back, and a quick count to 3 means a loss. Repeatedly punching will flip the crab back over, but like any boxing or wrestling game, that is only going to work for so long. Between fights, you can level up the crab of your choice or buy some weapons, each with their own stats. The leveling system is actually pretty neat and lets you pick the stat you want to raise, just like a Souls game. Some stats make your crab heavier and harder to knock over, and some make swings with weapons use less stamina and things like that. The weapons range from knives to swords to lightsabers. I even used a seal as a weapon, like not the singer, but the animal. Watching a couple crabs duke it out with stuff like this is so much fun to watch. The soundtrack has a blend of what I'm going to refer to as J-pop, even if that may be wrong, also some electronic music that gives the game some energy. The graphics are decent, but nothing to really write home about, but then you're not really playing this for the graphics, are you? The crabs themselves have plenty of detail, and the environments are colorful, and there's a ton going on without it being too distracting. So really with that in mind, the important stuff is what looks good. The game really shines the most in versus mode though. You can play a local game, or you can play it over Wi-Fi or go online. As you expect with a weird game like this, I didn't really find more than one game online, and that was when I expanded the match search as much as I could. That guy actually kicked my ass in all over the place, but there was no lag and I still had fun. Otherwise, with any match, you and your friends are going to pick your crabs, your weapons, and then go at it. As far as any issues in the game, you're going to hate the controls or you won't mind them. They're not as difficult as something like Surgeon Simulator, at least not to me, and it's more button mash friendly, but if you're trying to actually learn to play the game well, I think it's going to be more frustrating for some people. It's best to go into this as just something funny to enjoy with your friends. And with that in mind, the price does feel a little bit steep for what's being offered. $20 on day one felt a little bit pricey for a game like this, especially since unless you have friends who will play with you online or in person, I can't imagine finding matches will be very easy, which leaves you with the campaign mode, which isn't bad, but it really serves more to unlock weapons and crabs. And really, who doesn't want to get more crabs that they can share with their friends? And really, I think we can all agree that that's a lot better than getting crabs from strangers, right? So gross jokes aside, at the end of the day, Fight Crab is still a really fun time, and you'll have a lot of laughs playing this with your friends. The sheer insanity of playing as crabs wielding weapons and smacking each other in all sorts of funny settings makes it a pretty easy recommendation, though the novelty of playing it by yourself will probably get a little bit boring after a while. I'm pretty confident though that the moment you get someone in a room with you and your Switch, one of the first things you're going to say will be, "You have to play this crazy game I bought." And for me, that's a sign of a good game. And that is all I've got for today's review. Thanks for watching. Please like and subscribe if you enjoyed it, and check back for more content coming soon. Congratulations! You're one of an elite few to make it to the end of the video. Reward yourself by hitting the round subscribe button in the middle, and then check out the other goodies I've got in the links next to it.